Scottie Shuffle Scheffler. Let's analyze his golf swing today, and I'm going to show you the reason why he is such an amazing ball striker and why it looks so weird. Now, before we get into the reason why it looks so weird, I want to question what you think is weird in a golf swing. Because the reality is that Scottie's golf ball does incredible things and makes him a lot of money. Maybe your definition of weird in a golf swing potentially could be incorrect. So hopefully today you learn some things about what actually creates a good shot and realizing that the golf ball has no idea who's swinging the club or what it looks like. In Scottie's backswing, what I want to point out is this position here in the backswing. If you take a look at where his left arm is and where his shaft is, you're going to notice that that is not an L. It is greater than an L. Typically with golf coaching, you're going to see this position here. So they're going to always talk about the L position there and not so much this big angle that's created by Scottie. Now, do you really think that Scottie Scheffler needs to create an L in his backswing? And that's the thing with golf. It can be so unique to the person. We've just got to find what works. And for Scottie, this position here where his shaft looks like it's casted out a little bit more or pushed away from him, works for him, clearly. This position is just typical of someone who doesn't have a lot of wrist hinge. But Scottie manages to match that up with a move that we're going to talk about in the downswing position. So as Scottie works it up to the top of the backswing, again, he still doesn't have a lot of hinging to the club there. You're going to see that even though his hands have created a big full turn, the club shaft is still not at parallel. But again, if he had more wrist hinge, it would be. So he's created a big full turn. He just hasn't hinged his wrist very much. Now this is where we start to talk matchups and why this lack of wrist hinge works for Scottie. As he transitions into the downswing, that left hip is going to shift well past this right line that we're talking about. And so Scottie's lateral shift, pressure moving into the left side, but in the direction of laterally, so just meaning sideways rather than rotating, is going to shift where his club will land further up in this position here. So typically a wrist hinge, a lack of wrist hinge, will shift where the club lands on the ground further backwards. Now that's okay if you can find something that will match that up to shift it further forward. And this is exactly what Scottie does. He shifts his weight and transitions his weight laterally a significant amount that now shifts this lack of wrist hinge into a position where he can consistently strike the golf ball in an awesome position. Literally one of the best ball strikers to ever live. So question the idea that do you have to get this L shape in the backswing? No, you just need to make it work for your golf swing. Again, to recap, swinging up to this position here, we see that Scottie does not have a lot of wrist hinging there. As it gets up to the top, he still doesn't have a lot. But the thing is that when he transitions into the downswing, the left hip and the entire body is going to shift more towards the right in this camera view, but left for him, more towards the target, which will offset the lack of wrist hinge that Scottie has. The lack of wrist hinge will shift the contact point back, and the significant shove laterally towards the target with his entire body is going to shift the contact point forward. And so what those do is they equal each other out and allow him to land the club in the precise spot that he is needing to. Just because you've seen it on Instagram that you need to create the L in the backswing, it sure as hell doesn't mean it's true.